What is up, everybody? Skratch coming up with another Raid Shadow Legends video. How you guys probably know, the Hydra is near the corner. So they actually announced that they're gonna move the CVC from Tuesday to Sunday because a lot of people asked to don't release major updates during CVC because a lot of bugs, errors can happen. Now, I would assume that next week we'll be getting Hydra since they moved the CVC and they kind of said it that they moved it because of a major update. I feel like that's the next major update coming to the game. So they actually released the patch notes for patch 5.0. That being said, let's jump straight into it and have a look at what exactly is going to happen. So one of the biggest, most important updates of the year is finally here, guys, near completion. And they teased the clan boss all around, but now it's finally to show everything that the clan boss has. And they know that the artifacts, the champions, teams compositions are a big struggle when we're talking about clan boss. So we're gonna have a 50% discount on swapping artifacts once the Hydra launches. So basically 50% off on gear remover on silver, which should be free, by the way. But we have the new clan boss, the Hydra. You'll be able to access via the clan boss menu. You still have to be part of the clan for that, which has been redesigned into a map where you can choose the boss you wish to fight. Your old friend, the Demon Lord, is still there, of course. He and the Hydra have many similar principles when it comes to the basics. Namely, you get a limited number of Hydra keys, you'll need to fight it, and rack up as much damage as you can before the Hydra resets. You'll get rewards chests for reaching certain milestones, and depleting the Hydra's HP will ensure everyone in the clan who took part in those battles will get double rewards depending on the difficulty. The difference between this and the old Demon Lord is that the Hydra resets once per week. You'll get 3 keys to use in that period. That is something we decided on to ensure players aren't further overwhelmed by the number of things that they have to do in raid every day. Instead, you can choose your time whenever it's convenient and still get your best results. And your best rewards, like with the Demon Lord, players will get the rewards chest after the Hydra resets. I do remember that they specified that we'll be getting the chests and we'll be getting rewards every time we fight it. So let's just see if they're saying anything about it again. Also, you'll have the option to end the battle early with the free regroup button. If you do so, whatever damage you've dealt won't count, but you won't lose your Hydra key either. That's pretty good, guys. I wish they would do that for the normal clan boss as well. Nor will you lock out the champions you've used. That way you can try out different tactics before going for the proverbial kill. That's pretty good that we're going to be able to try the teams without wasting the keys or Alt F4 from the game non-stop for it to happen, you know. There are also a few things to remember when it comes to the fight itself. First, you'll be facing a combination of 4 different Hydra heads with 2 more sitting on the sidelines. When you chop one of the heads off, there's a chance that one of those 2 will take its place and change the combination you're fighting. Keep that in mind, as your strategy will need to be adjusted heavily depending on which head you have to face. Oh, and each mount will be shuffled, which heads make the initial team for the Hydra as well as their affinities. That's just to keep us on our toes. Now, in terms of champions teams, guys, honestly, you won't be able to make many different changes, even though the affinities will change and stuff. Just for the simple fact that there are not that many champions out there that they're gonna bring in the right mechanics for these teams to work, you know. So because of it, I feel like affinities won't be playing such a huge role as it plays in the normal clan boss at the moment, you know. Then, on the bright side, you can bring 6 champions at the same time. You'll have much greater flexibility when it comes to champion combos and team compositions. There's a catch though. You'll only be able to use specific champions once per Hydra cycles, meaning that once you've completed a Hydra battle, you won't be able to use the same champions for the next one during the week. So do mind those duplicates. They'll be quite handy if you really want to rely on specific skills or combinations. Now, I have a feeling that they kind of gonna make it in such a way that we're not really gonna afford to 1 key, 2 key, the highest difficulty and one of the lowest ones. I feel like they made it in such a way that we gotta push all our 3 keys in 1 difficulty in order to get it done. I might be wrong, but we're gonna see that down the line. Each head will have specific skills, strengths, and weaknesses that you'll see in the tables presented below, but these are also several universal mechanics to keep in mind. First, every so often that Hydra will consume one of your champions. When that happens, you need to focus all your efforts onto the head that did it and inflict a set amount of damage before time runs out. If you fail, your champion will be lost and no block damage, unkillable, or other protective buffs are going to save them. Nor you will be able to revive them. If you succeed, the champion will return to the fight. So unkillable block damage won't help us to keep the Hydras for eating our champions, guys. It's gonna be pretty hard to try and even make an unkillable team. Block damage could play a pretty good role in terms of turn to turn, just manually adjusting it when we gotta run it, because either they get turn meter, we decrease turn meter, we deplete their turn meter, depending on what head we kill or whatever happens, what skills they use. So the turn meter manipulation is gonna be all over the place. We're not really gonna be able to tune teams the same way we've done it before with the old clan boss, and because we don't know which head is gonna revive once we kill one, etc., it's gonna be pretty hardcore. It's not like it's gonna be impossible to be on auto, which is gonna be pretty fine. The more fights we're gonna do, the more things we're gonna figure out, but I feel like running the classic unkillable teams that we have nowadays for the old clan boss is just not gonna be possible. Secondly, each head has an HP bar. When the bar is depleted, the head is decapitated and remains inactive for a little while. That is when you want to hit it. Any damage dealt to the exposed neck, that's what the severed head will be called until it grows back. Takes an extra 200% of damage, which is exactly why you want to ensure the highest possible reward. On top of that, you also get unique bonuses called decapitation effects, which depend on which of the heads you just swatted. It will grow back though, or it will be replaced by one of the 2 extra heads from the roster. So basically, the old one can actually grow back. And you'll get a buff called Serpent's Will for 1 turn. The buff reduces all incoming damage by 75%. So once we chop off the head, guys, we have the neck left there, where we can do 200% more damage, apparently. So we gotta hit the neck and ignore the rest of the heads, focus everything on the neck to ramp up tons and tons of damage in a super fast amount of time, you know. Then what do we have? New buffs and debuffs. Mostly Hydra specifics. Life Barrier. The Hydra's HP is reinforced with a shield-like effect. However, Life Barrier takes priority over active shield buffs. Any damage directed at the head with this buff will be subtracted from the Life Barrier value first before the head's HP is affected. If the Life Barrier is not depleted with a set number of turns, the head under this buff restores its HP to max. If Life Barrier is depleted, the head is stunned for 1 turn. Life Barrier cannot be removed, stolen, or otherwise affected by buff manipulation skills. Wow. So it's gonna be like on top of the shield and HP as well. We're gonna have to knock that down. If not, the head is gonna go back on full HP. It shouldn't be necessarily a problem if it's not the main head that we're focusing on to knock down, you know. But I feel like it's gonna be a pretty strong buff for the heads, depending on how many of them will have it. Poison Cloud. Now that's something that I was curious. Poison Cloud blocks damage from all hostile poison effects. Additionally, every attack dealt against the Hydra head under this buff counts as a weak hit. HP burn debuffs cancel the effect of Poison Cloud. Champions whose skills means they do not land weak hits and the Affinity Breaker artifact set can counter this effect as well. Poison Cloud cannot be removed, stolen, or otherwise affected by buff manipulation skills. So if I understood this right, we need HP burn to make sure we're not getting weak hits when they have this buff, correct? I think that's what I understood out of it. Anyway, I'm gonna double check everything again, guys. Tomorrow I'm gonna get all the Hydra heads. I'm gonna make them nice in a file, and then we're gonna talk about teams, champions, strategies, what exactly we can get organized. So stay tuned for tomorrow's video. Then we have Vengeance. Activates after the head of the rat suffers 15 hits, increases the head's damage by 300% for 1 turn, and triggers an immediate AoE attack. Vengeance cannot be removed, stolen, or otherwise affected by buff manipulation skills. Now right here, we definitely need to have a block damage or a massive shield on the team or something, because 300% increased damage, AoE can, wow, obliterate your team. Stone Skin removes all debuffs from this champion, makes them immune to all debuffs except bombs, reduces the incoming damage by 85%, increases damage dealt by bomb debuffs by 300%, can be reset by dealing damage equal to 50% of this champion's max HP. So, yes, they're not saying that they cannot be removed. We kind of had the idea like, can we remove this buff from the team? Can we not? We cannot remove it. What exactly is going to happen? But as long as it can be removed, we're gonna be more than fine with the Stone Skin. Serpent's Wheel activates when a new Hydra head grows in place of the decapitating one. Serpent's Wheel decreases all incoming damage by 75%. So we've already covered this a bit higher in the text. The massive book that we have actually. Then we have the Pain Link. Creates a link between the Heads of Suffering and a target champion. The target champion receives 15% of all the damage that the Head of Suffering receives, though the Head of Suffering gets full damage from the incoming attack. So AoE attacks will cost your team as well when Pain Link is on. So you gotta be careful with that as well. Petrification. Now this is going to be a champion. The Fragment champion we're going to get from Hydra chests, okay? I can't wait to get this champion. Looks like Medusa. She looks pretty awesome. Petrification removes all buffs from the target champion and blocks any other buff from being applied while Petrification is active, but the champion can still get debuffs. The target champion skips their turns. The cooldown of their skill does not get refreshed. Additionally, incoming damage is reduced by 60% except for damage dealt by bomb debuffs. Bomb deal 300% more damage. So they're really trying to bring the bombs into the meta in a way or another. I appreciate that because the bomb champions, they kind of suck. Honestly, they're awful. We don't really have a use for them. They're not efficient in arena, not efficient in dungeons, not efficient on bosses, not efficient in the Doom Tower. But the new Petrification debuff sounds pretty awesome. You're not going to refresh your skills, you're not going to be able to get a turn, and all that sounds pretty interesting. Decapitated activates when the HP of one of the Hydra's heads reaches 0. The head is removed and turns into exposed neck. It cannot act for a set numbers of turns and takes 200% more damage. We have a bunch of stuff happening. Mark of the Hydra. This is a special effect that marks a champion for devouring. It cannot be blocked, removed, or otherwise manipulated, and it is also not a debuff, and those debuffs limitations do not apply. So that's when they're marking the champion that they're gonna eat, guys. You cannot avoid it no matter what you're doing. Digesting marks the Hydra head that has devoured one of your champions. The head with this effect receives additional HP and a time counter, deals a set amount of damage before that counter runs on to return your champion to the battle. If you fail, the champion is lost and cannot be revived or brought back by any other means. You really want to kick in before the timers expires. That's basics for now. Keep in mind that we're going to add more content for the Hydra in the coming months, including new heads, so keep your eyes open for more teasers and announcements. All that's left is to check out exactly what kind of beasts you'll be facing in the iteration, in the first iteration there. So we are already pretty familiar with the heads, guys. I'm not gonna go over all their skills because there's a bunch of text all around, but I'll do my best to organize the video for tomorrow, strategize teams, champions, what buffs we need, what debuffs we need, how to kind of make our core team at its best, you know. So these are all the heads that we know. Head of Torment, Head of Decay, we have Head of Blight, we have Head of Suffering, we have a Head of Mischief, we have Head of Wrath, we have pretty much that's it. I think we reached 6 of them. Now, Hydra rewards artifacts. On top of Clan Gold and other goodies, 2 brand new artifact sets will be available in the Hydra rewards chest, Stone Skin and Protection. Amazing sets, both of them, guys. You gotta equip one piece and you're already getting a bonus stat. Equip 2 pieces, 3 pieces, 4 pieces, 5 pieces, 6 pieces, and you'll be going crazy. Again, we're not gonna cover the sets because we talked about it before. They're awesome sets, but a couple of other things that I'm curious to see if they wrote in here. There are a couple of unique things about this. First of all, you get bonuses for every single piece from that set, meaning that you could have even one artifact and still get something. Secondly, these artifacts also come in brand new mythical rarity. Basically, 6-star artifacts, legendary, but they already have an extra roll on the substats. That's what it means, mythical. And these, I feel like they're around 6 months tops maximum away from dungeons, guys. So stay tuned for it as well, because they will be making an introduction in the game slowly. Maybe they're gonna add them next in the PvP, whatever they're planning to do in the future, but they will be coming in the game pretty soon, guys. And that's what we have right here, our new champion, Mitrala Lifebane. She's gonna be a dark elf, actually. Attacks 2 times at random. Each hit has an 80% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns. Attacks all enemies. Places a hex debuff for 2 turns. Also places an increased defense buff and an increased attack buff on all allies for 2 turns. Now, this sounds amazing. She's gonna pair so good with Ruel the Huntsmaster. You're gonna have attack up. You're gonna have hex on the enemy team. My god, he's gonna deal so much damage, guys. I cannot wait to get her. She's Void Affinity, no weak hits on the hex, and I'm curious because we only see one champion with a Hydra. Every single difficulty is gonna drop fragments for it. Some difficulties of the Hydra, they won't be dropping fragments at all. What's the situation with the rewards Plarium? Tell us a bit more about it, because that's kind of like the thing that we want to know. Then, on the A3, removes all debuffs from all allies. Cleans, pretty nice. And that's on a 3-turn cooldown. Same with the A2 on a 3-turn cooldown. We only need 8 books for this champion, which is amazing. Places a strengthen buff and a shield buff equal to 30% of this champion max HP on all allies for 2 turns. The passive, whenever this champion is attacked by an enemy under a hex debuff, has a 50% chance of applying a petrification debuff on the attacker for 1 turn. This doesn't work against the Hydra heads, guys, so one thing to keep in mind, petrification is not a debuff that works there. Whenever an ally is attacked by an enemy under a hex debuff, has a 30% chance of applying a petrification debuff on the attacker for 1 turn. So it's gonna work for the entire team. That's pretty interesting. Also, this champion's resistance, the amount by which it is increased is equal to the amount of accuracy this champion has. Okay, that's pretty nice. The more accuracy on the champion, the more resistance. Equal. That's actually a nice mechanic, similar with what Hellier has in a way or another. I like that, and I feel like that's it. They actually increased a bit the damage and the chance to place freeze of for the new champion, the Alexander the Sharpshooter, the simple champion. But that's what we have coming in the next patch, guys. Do let me know in the comments down below. Are you excited for the Hydra clan boss? Not really. You can't be bothered with it. It's gonna be a lot of work, a lot of champions, a lot of gear to be moved around. So make sure you are staying tuned for it. And stay tuned for tomorrow's video, guys. We're gonna try to figure out a decent team to start on the Hydra clan boss. Since we don't know the speeds and stuff, I can't really give you stats, etc. But at least I can give you an idea of what champions you would wanna work on. That was all for this video. Much love, and I'll catch you all soon on the next one. Till then, peace.